3-part segment, and we'll do that today. And then DreamLife GPS, which is GPS, Global Positioning System, how to stay on track when life goes this way and that way, because your perfect dream life, please get this down, is like a symphony. Write down. My perfect dream life is like a symphony. And every fine symphony has twists and turns and low notes. So write that down. My perfect dream life is like a symphony. And a symphony has twists and turns and surprises, and a symphony has low notes. The greatest music includes low notes. And why is that part of the equation? It's not a fail, nothing's going wrong. Divine love hasn't turned on you. Everything's perfect. How does this all fit together? And how can I see the blessing in everything and keep on track? Then we're going to move into Dream Life Manifesto to conclude our day. And this is pretty exciting. All right, so let me open it up with any questions. Yes, we're good? We're on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
We're on YouTube, everyone. Hey, let me put it back on the screen so you can send some love. Let them see just how sexy my audience is. Let them see. There you are. There you are. Everyone wants to join us. YouTube, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is James MacNeil. This is called the DreamLife Experience. It is an online metaphysical sprint through pure spiritual intelligence, where you are introduced to the 12 meditations of pure spiritual intelligence to understand how this universe fits together and how you can live your best possible life as your best possible self. We call that your dream life. And we've invested 2 days already. So those of you who are just joining us, if you want to join us officially inside of the Zoom, you can still do that. And if you join us for the low cost of $9, which is just like a token, right? If you choose to do that, I'm going to give you the recording of the whole weekend, which is worth, well, it's priceless. You'll get the Friday and the Saturday and the Sunday, and we'll give you that link in a few minutes. But welcome, YouTube. Welcome, welcome. Everyone send some love to YouTubers. Happy you're here, happy you're here. All right, so let me get back to where I was. Q&A. So who's helping me out with Q&A? Do we have Jennifer? Do we have Olga? Who's my boss today? Hola.
Jennifer.
Yay, Jennifer. Everyone send some love to Jennifer. Has been stepping up, jumping in. Just been an incredible gift to our community. Not just Jennifer, but her cats. I want you to send some love to her cats too. It's not just Jennifer, but her cats. It's a team sport. They're poised beside her on either side, ready to support her and support us. They're there. It's a team play. Okay, Jennifer, please, any questions that have come in, either from you or anyone else, text or hands up, let me know. We'll do a quick Q&A if there's anything on the docket. Knowing everyone, we're going to do a full Q&A at the end of the day, and I'm going to do a sprint through all the content we covered. So these things are coming. Questions? Anything on the docket, Jennifer, at the moment? Well, I would call your doctor. I don't know what that means. Now, it is true that we have physiological indicators of spiritual reality. So write that down. We do have, sometimes the body talks to us about spiritual matters. So rather than having to write physiological. So the body talks to us about spiritual matters. We're going to talk about that today with the chakras and how you can experience physically some spiritual stuff. Spiritual stuff can be highlighted. Now, if you have pain in your chest, maybe that's a physical thing, and go to your doctor. So I wouldn't know. But I will say this, that we do have, and actually I really love what just got provoked. So everyone please hear this. You and Divine have a unique relationship, unlike anyone else's. Just say Divine and I, write that down. Divine, love and I, or God and I, Allah and I, right? The Tao and I, however you want to call it. But divine love and I and me, we have a unique relationship. So write that down. So I notice some spiritual leaders will say, this is how you know God's talking to you. I'm like, no, that's how you know how God's talking to you. Everyone has their own relationship. And so sometimes, some of you will say, well, God talks to me through, I don't know, hamburgers. Fine, pay attention to your hamburgers. Some of you, it's like, I get this gut feel. Some of you, I get a feeling in my heart. Sometimes I get these ideas. Some of you, God talks to me through dreams. Some of you would say, when I'm talking to friends, I hear the voice of divine coming out of them. Some of you would say, it's this, it's that. Listen, it isn't right and wrong. It's what is true for you and divine. Can we get an amen? So you don't have to be like me. I don't have to be like you. We just have to love each other and build our own unique relationship with divine. I went to one of the top theologians, the Christian theologian who signed off on my work. We're talking about one of the highest level minds in current spiritual reality, like currently one of the top minds on the planet. And I walked through my content with him and I say, I want to be biblically sound. And I asked this of my Buddhist friends and my Hindu friends, and I asked this of my Muslim friends, and every faith group and every spiritual journey. I say, help me understand. My chakra friends, who here are my chakra friends? You know that I pay attention to you. You know that I want to get it right. You know that I want to understand crystals, and I want to understand Reiki, and I want to understand, you name it, I want to understand it. Why? Because I want to be loving and respectful. So, this Christian theologian, I showed him all of my stuff and he's signing off on it. And I said, can you tell me what this was about? And he says, what? I said, when I became a widower, my wife passed away 10 years ago. In November, it'll be 10 years. And we were only married 1 year. Beautiful love story, a blessing for my life. She made me a better man. I was a blessing in her life. It was a beautiful love story. But when I lost her, I just about died. Some of you can understand that. And that was the end of me. And I told him, I said, for 3 years, I couldn't hear the voice of God. Did you hear what I just said? I told this theologian, for 3 years, my audio was turned off. I couldn't hear the voice of God. I said, is that normal? And he said to me, you've heard the voice of God? I said, yeah. He said, I've never heard the voice of God. So, isn't that cool? Well, I'm talking to one of the top minds in the world. He says, that's not how it works with me. And I thought, wow, I thought we were all the same, and we're not. So I got a beautiful lesson. He said, that's beautiful if divine love, if God talks to you in that way. And for a lot of people, that's not how he does it. Or she does it, or they do it, for those of you who are otherwise spiritually aligned. So I learned a valuable lesson of don't dictate how divine dialogues with individuals. Do I got an amen on this? So if you say, I just love the way Divine and I get along, fine, figure out your relationship. Just like any relationship. You make a new friend, you figure out what they love, you figure out what they don't love, you figure out how you best get along. You learn. Same with your relationship with Divine. Sometimes, I swear to you, Divine makes fun of me and plays tricks on me, and we laugh together. I'm like, you did that? And Divine's like, yeah, I did. And we have a great loving relationship, and I encourage you to nurture your unique relationship with Divine. Who got some value out of that conversation? Nurture your unique, precious relationship with Divine love. So then, if you, right, it was Suzette who asked the question, if you have this thing in how you relate with Divine, that there's a heaviness in your heart when you're going down the wrong road, or you have a heaviness in your heart when you're in the wrong group with the wrong people, or you have this heaviness of heart that tells you, I'm not behaving like myself, then say, great, thank you, Divine, that's how we work together. But when uncertain, you have any physiological thing, check with your doctor. It might be just physical. So don't underestimate the urgency of respecting your physical body. It is a spiritual antenna, and it's an animal. And this meat sack we're in requires some loving attention and sometimes some medical assistance. Can we give some respect on that? So there's nothing wrong with saying, let me check with my doctor. If everything's cool, let me check with Divine. Maybe do both at the same time. So I'm wide open to how Divine talks to you and how Divine talks to me. And by the way, get this down, write this down. And our relationship evolves, which means Divine used to talk to me. Now Divine just shows me things in my dream. Used to be like this, now it's like that. Do not ever assume the problem is with Divine. Divine is always yes and amen and ready to share and bless and direct. If you're not experiencing that, just check with yourself, what am I not open to? But divine is always yes and amen and always whispering to you in your own unique relationship way. Ooh, I really love that. Who's happy that we just had that conversation? I think that's a very important, very valuable conversation. Beautiful. Jennifer, what else you got? Anything? Okay. I passed. Thanks, team. All right. So let's keep it going. So we will do complete Q&A at the end of the day. Keep stockpiling those questions, sending them in to Jennifer and Olga and team, and we're going to be watching it. Don't forget that, oh yeah, so we've got lots to do today, right? What's that?
No, don't forget.
Yeah, we got lots to do. Just a reminder for those of you on YouTube or those of you who want to get your friends to join here, what I've done is something I've never done before. First of all, it's a 3-day, which I've never done before. Number 2, I've never offered a 3-day for $9. Number 3, I never intended to provide the recording of this weekend for $9. That was never my intention. But as people were joining throughout the weekend, I thought, well, they missed day 1. And so I wanted those people, even at $9, to be able to have everything. And so if you have not signed up, you can buy these for your friends. If you want to buy a $9 ticket for a friend or a family member, they will have the whole recording for the weekend. This is astronomical for $9. And they can join today live. If you're watching on YouTube, you also can join. And it's go.jamesmacneil.com/insider. What that gives you is the private link to this Zoom where you get to network with the beautiful souls around the world. You get the 31-page full-color print-ready workbook, the posters, 2 full hours, well 3 full hours of Q&A now, VIP global networking, and personal interaction with me throughout the weekend. So that's what you get for the $9. If you wanted the recordings of all the past ones, and there's I think 5 or 6 in the tank, oh maybe you can tell Augustine, he can tell me how many we have there. Let's say it's 5. 5 complete weekends are already pre-recorded for you, and they're all different. So you get all of those. Let me just ask you this. Do you believe that if you just listen to these recordings over and over again, you're going to change your life? As I said, the top listeners, the top learners, the best in the room will not retain more than 30%. That's just scientific. So if this is deep and wide, which means every time you visit it, you go deeper and wider, it's not just 30% on level 1, it's the depth of it. So get all of these recordings, put them on your iPad, or your iPod, or whatever you use, your phones, your MP3 players, play them in the car, play them however you do it, but capture, play, listen. All right, so with the VIP, you get all the past recordings, and you get a full year access to the DreamLife Experience. So every time I run one of these, your ticket is good for 12 months. So that's huge, it's only $97. And that is go.jamesmacneil.com/VIP, and there we go. Good and good? Now don't forget what Augustine shared. Some of you have come in after Augustine's announcement. We have a competition, a fun game going this weekend. We're asking you to spread the message of pure spiritual intelligence with the world. Put up your hand if you agree. It would be great if the whole world was dialed in on the love vibe that we're sharing this weekend. Everyone agrees? So help me out here. The way to market any message is human to human. Divine love could force everyone in the world to know this instantly, but this is a free will planet. And modern day marketing is more of a crapshoot or a lottery ticket. The only way to truly get a message to the world is human to human. Are you willing to help me out and pass these thoughts and messages along? Who's with me? One by one, person by person. You can do a big blast, yes. You can do an email blast, yes. You can do all of this, and we do. But here's the most powerful thing you can do. Look a friend in the eye and say, you should definitely check this out. Here's a gift, or here's a quote, or I'm telling you, this is changing my life. And when your soul connects to another soul and tells that soul a heartfelt truth, speak the truth in love, that other soul can be affected. So it's 1 to 1, human to human. If everyone here would get 2 people to jump into our world, we've now tripled our world-changing impact. Do you follow what I just said? If you tell 2 people, like really soul to soul, get them, that's going to start compounding every single day. So that's what I'm asking you to do. Now, when you share the love, here's what you can do. You can screenshot your favorite moments. Oh, look at this. I got my spell checker there. Maybe favorite is Canadian. I don't know. Help me out. I'm dyslexic and all that other stuff, so be nice. So screenshot your favorite moments of the weekend. I'm about to a quick recap. I'm going to do a recap so you can screenshot all these different things. Then what you do is you share it on social media. So that can be LinkedIn, that can be Twitter, that can be, what else? Instagram, Facebook, and everything else. I don't know all the names of these things. So when you share, please tag, right? Tag at the James MacNeil. I am the James MacNeil. And when you do that, and hashtag DreamLife Experience. Hashtag DreamLife Experience, the pound sign. When you do that, our system can track that you've done a share, and then you're in the game. Now, for the Miracle Magnet that generates the most awareness, you will receive a signed copy of my book. Let's just do, hey, why don't we do this? I'll sign it in front of everyone at the end of the day. Can we do that? Can we track?
Yes.
Who would like me to sign it? You can watch me sign it. He'll put the camera on it. You'll watch me sign it, and then we'll be mailing it to you. Is that cool? So you get in front of everybody. Everyone in the world will watch your book get signed, and then we'll be shipping it to you. That's freaking cool, right?
That's awesome.
Right? That's cool. It's like, okay, so you will win this book, not a book, this book. I will sign this book to you, and then you're getting a VIP DreamLife Experience ticket worth $97 for 5 friends. So it's $500 plus the signed copy. Who wants it? Who wants $500 plus the signed copy? Plus you impact 5 friends' lives. So it's a big deal. Our social media. Can you type in love to the chat? We have social media people and volunteers and staff around the world coming up with these cool ideas to help us. So please type in love. Let them know that you appreciate them and you're going to play along. Nice. Now, I want to do this power project. All right. So I'm going to do this and then we'll do a recap. And I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Let me just kind of settle in here. Let me just look at your pretty faces. You ready to be famous? Attorney Susan, I'm happy to see you. All right. How's your dog? Is your dog okay, Attorney Susan? Yes? Oh, good. We were talking about Susan coming in, being one of our facilitators, being part of our team, and then she's like, stop everything, my puppy needs to go to the hospital. And I'm like, yeah, save the doggy. If it was a cat. No, I'm kidding, Jennifer, I love cat. But yeah, Susan had to take care of puppy. All right, I'm going to get everyone on screen. Look sexy, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Send some love to the world, send some love to YouTube, send some love to each other. Now you're going to do these screenshots, these hashtags, these shares, and someone's going to get that book and the $500 worth of tickets to give away. I love this. So I wanted to have you on screen when I say this. I'm going to tell you now why you are not more powerful today. Who wants to understand why you are not more powerful today? And I want you to know one of the primary forms of power in our current world is money. You got that? So to the degree you have the power to act and influence, and money is one of those tools, to the degree that you have a powerful network, prestige, authority, to the degree that you have a powerful business, a powerful empire, wealth, wisdom, all of that is based on what we're going to talk about right now. And the reason you don't have more is because of your issues with power. Are you ready to become comfortable with power? Now, I'll tell you what happens. I've been doing this for 30 years. You understand? I know I look like I'm 24. Yes? I got it. I'm young, I'm sexy. I got it. But I've been doing this for 30 years. And for 30 years, I've watched people begin to crescendo and crash. Begin to climb and crash. Begin to get powerful and crash. Begin to get wealthy and crash. Put up your hand if you've seen some of those cycles in your life or people around you. You've watched the yo-yo. You've seen the yo-yo of humanity. I will tell you 100% confidence right now, the reason is the fear of power. You're afraid to be powerful. Maybe not now, but in the past, you may have been afraid to be powerful. Can we accept that? In the past, I may have been afraid of being powerful. To some degree, I've become more comfortable. Now you're going to be completely comfortable. Can I get an amen? It's time to stop stopping yourself, and to do that, you must be okay with power, because divine is about to change the world through you, and that's going to be powerful, and you will want to be calm as you become a powerful world changer. If you are not calm and still, you will find a way to lose the money, ruin the relationships, blow the business, undo your success if you are not at peace. Okay. So write this down. I am peaceful with power. Let's begin. I am peaceful with power. Now, the reason why you have fear of power in the past is this. First of all, you didn't know what power was. So write this down. Power is defined as the ability to act and influence. Now, how would you like to be able to just say, I don't like how the President of the United States is behaving, right? You just say, I'm not happy with what they're doing. How would you like to be able to get on the phone and say, pay attention to me today, and you can call the President of the United States? Who would like to have that kind of power? And say, dude or dudette, what the heck? Who would like to have that kind of power? Who would like to be able to call the leader of the UN and say, what the hell were you thinking last week? Who would like to be able to call Putin and say, Privyet, and then have a chat? Who would like to be able to talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime, and have them take your call and listen to you? Put up your hand if you want to have that kind of power. Well, if you watched the first great Spider-Man movie, you would know that with great power comes great what? Type it into the chat. With great power comes great what? Type it in. Let's see how many Spider-Man fans we have in the room. Yeah, baby. With great power comes great responsibility. And so what has happened is you may have, in the past, been afraid of responsibility. I want you to know that the movement towards adulthood, maturity, is peace with power and responsibility. This is a key maturity issue, and we have very few mature people on the planet. Now, I have jokingly said many times for years, if there was a test given to someone before they were officially called an adult, I would never pass. There's no flippin' way anyone would call me an adult by any normal standard. I am a child in a man's body. I am silly and playful and crazy and reckless and whatever. And yet, I've realized that in some ways, I'm one of the most mature people I've ever met. Put up your hand if you understand that you can be childlike and mature. Completely off the chain childlike and complete and total grown-up at the same time. It's not childish to be childlike. To be childlike is part of the lexicon of ethos. To be complete means I'm also a strong child, and I'm also not to be messed with in some ways. Okay, you ready now? So, if you think about it as a child, just journey with me. As a child, you do not have as much power as an adult, and therefore you do not have as much responsibility. So far, so good? So as a child, the kids at school might say, your clothes are bad, or your family is poor, the house you live in sucks. They can do that. But as a child, you can say, talk to my parents. Ain't my fault. I'm 5. If my parents are idiots, talk to them. You can't judge me for how my parents suck. Put up your hand if, as an adult, you can now think about the fact that you weren't responsible as a child. You weren't responsible of what religion the family was in. You weren't responsible with where you lived, how you lived, the economy, the house, whether you took trips together. None of this was your responsibility because you didn't have the power to choose. Correct? So get that down. Childhood is freedom from responsibility because of the lack of power. Now, as a child, you had some power, whether you learned to exercise it or not. You had the power to act and influence. Who knows that kids are pretty good at influencing their parents' buying habits? Wah, wah, wah. I want this. Give me, give me, give me. I'm going to hold my breath. Whine, bitch, moan, complain, scream, pout, throw a tantrum. Now, put up your hand if you are aware that some adults still use these strategies to get what they want. Okay, it's fine when you were 5. Stop it. You can't whine, bitch, moan, and complain your way into God giving you what you want. That's a 5-year-old strategy. Get over it. The way we partner with divine power is not as a child. When I was a child, I acted like a child, I behaved like a child, but no more. Now, as a child, we use manipulative tools and yada, yada, yada. Kids lie, cheat, steal, whatever, but because they're trying to figure out their way. But as an adult, hopefully we've left childish things behind. We don't lie, cheat, steal, whine, bitch, moan, complain, pout, or throw a tantrum. We're now a grown-up. Can I get an amen? Now, in this transition from childhood, when I'm not responsible, to adulthood, where I am responsible, childhood, where I have no power or very limited power, to adulthood, where I become a powerful world changer, the transition ages are the teenage years. Would you agree? The teenage years is where we're supposed to go from immature to some level of maturity, from powerless to powerful, from no responsibility to responsibility. Yes, that's the transition phase that we think of. And so what is the tension in the teenage years? The tension is, I want the freedom without the responsibility. Who would agree with that? I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, where I want, with whom I want, and I don't want to have any responsibility. Well, sorry, they come together. I'm allowed to go out and sing with Augustine and make friends. I'm allowed. But I'm not allowed to sit here and say, I'm tired. Grow the heck up. Right? Freedom comes with responsibility. And teenagers would be served well to learn that in the teenage years. Put up your hand if you agree that some adults could really benefit from understanding what they were supposed to learn as a teenager. The way Stephen Covey put it is, you can't pick up one end of the stick. One end of the stick is freedom of choice. The other is the consequences of those freedom of choice decisions. You can't say, I'm free to eat what I want without saying, I also accept that if I eat nothing but candy and chips, I might not have the body I want. You say, well, that's not fair. It's the way the universe works. So you have freedom of choice, but you don't have freedom of consequences. Write that down. Freedom of choice does not mean freedom of consequences. Some people say, we should have free speech. You have free speech. What you don't have is freedom of consequences when you use your free speech. Some free speech is going to cost you. And that was a free will decision. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you getting this? That the responsibility comes with the power. I'm free to eat what I want. I'm not free from the consequences of eating what I want. I plant seeds, I reap a harvest. This is the fruit of my labors, or my non-labors. And so this transition from childhood to adulthood is this learning to deal with power and responsibility. And some of us graduated, some of us didn't. But that was when it was supposed to happen. Now, as an adult, if we did it well, we're now fearless with power. If we didn't do it well, we maintain fear of power because we're afraid of responsibility, we're afraid of judgment, we're afraid of being accused of not doing things right or best. And so when we're afraid of responsibility, we avoid power. Now we can cure this today and say, I'm now fearless with power. I'm now fearless with responsibility. And as we're going through this content, it's got to have happened consciously or subconsciously. You've become aware that if I do this, I will have power. Put up your hand if that's been hitting you. If I do this, I will have power. I will have money. I will have authority. I will have prestige. I will have the impact. My voice will matter. Well, as you see that, your ego might say, run away. Don't do any of this stuff. You'll be held responsible and everyone will judge you. So let's talk about the judge factor. If you live a great life, if you become powerful and wealthy and influential and loving and happy, do you know that some people will judge you for that? Sorry, I'm looking at the screen, I can see it. This is audience participation section. Put up your hand if you realize that people will judge you if you're super rich and super powerful. How do we know? You judge the super rich and the super powerful. You're part of the problem, so am I. I saw this guy on Facebook. He says, tax the crap out of the billionaires. Take all of their money. They shouldn't have this money. I said, oh, really? They created things you didn't create. How about you create as much as they created, and then when you're sitting on a private jet with them, give them your opinion. Until then, you haven't earned the right for them to listen to your opinion, because who the heck are you? What did you build? Was that too harsh? But if you judge people who are wealthy and powerful, you will be afraid to become wealthy and powerful because you know the judgment that is imminent, because you're part of that problem. So stop being part of that problem. Just say, hey, that's their journey, good for them. They got a jet, good for them. They built a rocket, good for them. You might say, well, I don't think billionaires should build rockets. Fine, be a billionaire and show us what you think is right. Right? Stop whining about other people doing what you haven't even got the power to do. So judging is part of the problem with responsibility. If you stop judging, you stop having the fear of judgment. Please write this down. As I stop judging others, I will lose my fear of judgment. When you don't judge anyone, you become fearless. I think what we're talking about right now is extremely powerful and important. Put up your hand if you feel this is very valuable. I want you to be as powerful as you possibly can be, to bear as much fruit on this planet as you possibly can. To do that, it is required that you stop stopping yourself, because divine love, God if you will not force you to be powerful. We live in a free will universe. You must choose to be powerful. It won't be forced upon you. You must choose to allow power to grow. And to do that, we need peace with power, which means peace with responsibility, and that is achieved by stop judging. Because judges judge. They'll judge you if you're rich, they'll judge you if you're broke, they'll judge you if you're bald, they'll judge you if you're blonde, they'll judge you if you have cats, they'll judge you. You got it? Judges judge. Let's stop being surprised. They're going to do what they're going to do. The question is, what are you going to do? I'd rather be judged for being loving and powerful and impactful and serving the world. Judge me for that. But I don't want to be judged for sitting around and hiding. No. Judge me for what I do. I'm going for it. Now, once we understand power a little bit more, it'll increase our comfort. So here's the next note. So power is defined as the ability to act and influence, and you've always had some power, and as you've grown in years, your ability to act and influence has grown. If you have not exercised your ability to act and influence, it hasn't been growing as fast as it could. Now we're going to show you exactly how to multiply your power. Now that we've said I'm now fearless of responsibility, let's now learn how I can build the power. Now that I'm fearless, I'm ready to go, how do I do it? So let's understand what power is. Now power is, let's think about it this way, power and love are synonymous. Just write that down. Love and power are synonymous. The power that gave birth to the universe is creative and compassionate. Therefore, power and love are creative and compassionate. So remember these. The primary purpose of power is creation and compassion. That's the purpose of power. The reason why you have your intelligence, the reason why you have your skills, the reason why you have your upbringing, the reason why you have access to tools and electricity and resources, the reason why you've been given all of this is because you have been handed the tools for creation and compassion. Now the question is, how are you doing in stewardship of that? Are you being as creative as you can be? Are you being as compassionate as you can be? Because if you don't, you're not exercising those muscles which will grow. So the primary purpose of power is creation and compassion, not control and consumption. And this is what we call abuse of power. People say power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts. Absolutely, and that is not true. It can, but it doesn't necessarily. That's not biblical, that's not philosophically sound. Just because some people have abused power doesn't mean that's what power is about. Power is about creation and compassion, not control and consumption. When exercised appropriately, power always grows. Are you getting these notes? Don't miss a moment here. We're not playing. I'm not doing this because I have nothing else to teach. I'm forcing this in because of the urgency. I hope you understand that. I've got 7 meditations to get through and more, and a recap, and I'm forcing this in because I want you to allow yourself to become as powerful as possible. So the primary purpose of power is creation and compassion, not control and consumption. When exercised appropriately, power always grows. When exercised appropriately, power always grows. Now I'm going to tell you how I came to this huge understanding of this. The birthplace of this whole section was an issue with my son. So are you cool with the story to bring this together? So who here has, I'm looking at you on the screen in front of me. Put up your hand if you have kids or have ever had kids. Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like young kids, whatever. Who remembers when they were going to go to school and you had the fear of the bully factor? Are they going to be the victim? Are they going to be the bully? Are they going to be safe? Are they going to be kind? Everyone remember that moment? It's like, oh, what kind of human have I sent into this world? And what kind of a world have I sent them into? And I remember when my son was about to go to kindergarten, grade 5 years old, 4 years old, whatever that is. And I had all of these questions because as a child, I was mostly the victim of bullies. Some of you know I was bullied, beaten, battered, broken, abandoned, choked, strangled, hung, and drowned. And I suffered at the hands of abuse of power a lot as a child. So I understand the victim of abuse of power position. But I also can admit that I was a bully. There were some kids that I was unkind to. So I thought, I don't like this bully world. How can I help my son? So here's the 2 questions, right? You probably remember. Do I help them see their strength so they're safe? Right? Do I help them see their strength so they're strong? Do I help them be nice so they're kind? Because the nice kids are the victims and the confident kids are the bullies. I'm not saying this is all true, I'm just saying this is the kind of thought that can rattle around for a parent. So I want you to know I spent an enormous amount of time praying and meditating on this, and here's the conversation I had with my son, and it's affected his entire life. He's 30 years old. This conversation changed his life and changed mine. Here's what I said. I sat him down, and my little 4-year-old or 5-year-old Andrew, I said, hey, Boog, I call him Boogie Boy. It's our affectionate little thing. So he doesn't mind. He's forgiven me. He comes, sometimes he's in a live event where I'm at, and I'll call him Boogie, and he's like, whatever. Like, he just knows I can't be controlled. It's going to happen. So I call him Boogie Boy. So I said, Boogie, and he said, yeah. I said, so you're going to school? You're going to go to school, right? Are you excited? And he's like, yeah. And I said, you know that at school there's going to be some kids that are maybe mean. You know, some kids won't behave nicely. You know that? And he's like, yeah. And I said, there's going to be some kids that are scared and nervous, right? He's like, yeah. Meanwhile, he's thinking, I'm one of them. Everyone follow it? So I set the stage. You know this is going to happen because it's already in his head. Why not talk about it? Then I said, now, Andrew, have you ever wondered why God made you so powerful? He's like, what? And I said, why you're so confident, why you're so strong, why you're so good with people, Why you can handle conversations that other people can't. Why are you so powerful? Have you ever wondered why God made you so special and powerful and smart and strong? You ever wondered why God did that? And he's like, no. I said, because God knows those scared kids will need you to make sure they're okay. Your power, my son, is to serve. Your power, my son, is to make this world a better place. You're 4 years old. Get it now. You are powerful, and you're powerful for a purpose. And that is to help those kids be safe. Do you like that? My son has never been in a fight his entire life. He's 30 years old. He was never in a fight. Something about him told the bullies, don't even think about it. And there was something about who he was that all the scared kids were magnetized to him. And he created a safe place. And around my son, the world is safer. Do you want that to be true about you and your kids and your family and your business? Around me and mine, the world is safe. Because we have power under control. I love Jordan Peterson said, a safe man is not a good man. A safe man is not a good man. He says a good man is a monster who has that under control. He says this shying away from power doesn't make the world a better or safer place. We are attracted to power under control, safe strength, not weak and not cruel. Can I get an amen on this? And when my son heard me speak into his life, son, you are powerful. And you're powerful on purpose. He embraced it. Then as a teenager, late in his teen years, he went to cage fighting training, like no rules, mixed martial arts training. He learned to grapple, he learned to strike. I learned the hard way, he got good at it. He and I went to a training once and we were rolling on the mats with some professional UFC fighters in the room. And my son kept hurting me. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? He said, Dad, it's just practice. I said, that's not practice. You have daddy issues. You're mean to daddy. And we laughed about it. I said, I'm not practicing with you anymore. So he became a killer. The kid is smart and strong and fast, and he could be dangerous. And he would go out with his friends. You know, these young guys, testosterone poisoning. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Young guys go out to the clubs. They're just looking to, cause some crap. Every single time, hear me please, every single time his friends went out to the clubs without him, every single time they got into fights. When my son was present, they never, ever, ever got into a fight. Because there's something about his presence that brings peace by way of power. Are you enjoying this conversation? I'm not just talking about my son, by the way, I'm talking about you. Why did God make you so powerful? Why did God make you so smart? Why did the divine allow you to go through trauma and drama? Why were you selected to experience what you've experienced, to become who you are and who you can be? Because you're here to make a difference. You are powerful. And you're powerful for a good reason. And I encourage you to celebrate that power, embrace that power, and get more. Can I get an amen? That conversation was about you, not Andrew. Why are you so powerful? For a reason. So what I'd like you to do is just bring this into a physiological thing. I want you to memorize this with your body. So the primary purpose of power is creation and compassion, not control and consumption. Here's what it looks like physiologically, so you'll remember this. So the primary purpose of power, right, fists, the primary purpose of power is creation, like a flower a plant coming out of the ground and blossoming, right? So the primary purpose of power is creation and compassion, as if this plant just gave birth to fruit, right? And then you take the food and you're handing it to somebody else. So the primary purpose of power is creation and compassion, not control and consumption. You got that? So let's do that part together. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. The primary purpose of power is creation and compassion, not control and consumption. You got that part? Now the next part is, when exercised appropriately, power always grows. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine these. The primary purpose of power is creation and compassion, not control and consumption. When exercised appropriately, power always grows. So we'll do that. I'll do that once from the top, and then you'll do it with me. Are you loving this? Let's lock this into our mind, our body, our soul, our spirit, our life, our business, our finance, our relationships. In every sector of life, we are powerful on purpose. Let's do this. The primary purpose of power is creation and compassion, not control and consumption. When exercised appropriately, power always grows. Give yourself a big huge hand. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please be powerful. Please be a monster under control. You are not weak and needy. You are powerful. You need nothing. You need no one. You treasure everything and you love everyone. Not from need, not from greed, but because you're a divine love ambassador. You're on purpose with a reason for this season. You are a creative and compassionate spiritual being currently existing in this physical form. You are infinitely valuable, exquisitely unique, and perfect in your personhood. Your natural state is in euphoric connection to source energy, source love, God, divine love. And in loving connection to all living things, you love others as you love yourself. Everything is perfect, everything is improving. You're not just here to make it, you're here to make it better. You're living your perfect dream life now. You are living on purpose and you are on schedule. Can I get an amen? You speak these words to yourself until you know it's true. Because it is true. All right. Woo! Let me check in on you. Let me. Who's looking good today? Who's powerful? Who's powerful? Show me. Who's powerful? Hey, I'm going to look at the screen. You go through what we just did. I'll just say the words, right? The primary purpose of power is creation and compassion, not control and consumption. When exercised appropriately, power always grows. I'm going to say the words. I'm going to watch you. Okay? So it's time for you to show off. Okay, here we go. The primary purpose of power is creation and compassion, not control and consumption. When exercised appropriately, let me see those muscles, power always grows. Yes! Amen, 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 amen. You gotta be playful, right? You gotta be. But it's more fun. And it unlocks, when we do things physiologically, emotionally, psychologically, physically, when we write, when we play, when we share, all of this puts it deeper into ourselves until this is just how we are. I want you to know I spent most of my life battling depression. I was suicidal through my entire teenage years. It was 36 years old when I was walking down the street. I realized for the first time in my life, I could remember being happy to be alive. At 36 years old, after already being very successful in many ways. And it was only after, about 12 years ago, when I met my now late wife, that I found out I'm lovable. It was only after that that I would level up to the next level, next level, next level. I am now as healthy as I've ever been. I'm the healthiest, happiest James MacNeil that this planet has ever seen. You want to be able to say that about yourself? I'm the happiest, healthiest, most powerful me that this planet has ever seen, and wait for tomorrow. Watch who I'll be tomorrow, because I'm never stopping in my creation. Right? I'm being created, I'm being unlocked. Amen and amen? Woo! I'm having fun. I'm having fun. Okay, so I know I've got 7 sections plus a recap. We're fine. I don't know how we're fine, but we're fine. Are we okay, Augustine?
Yeah.
All right. So let's do a quick recap, and then we'll be ready for today's lessons. All right. So here's what we've covered, and then we're going to be taking a break real soon. We might have 2 morning breaks, but here we go. What we've covered is your perfect dream life is perfect. It's better than anything you could imagine. Eye hath not seen, ear hath not heard, nor hath entered into the heart of mankind all of the miraculous, magnificent, and beautiful things that divine love has already had scheduled for you, which means you cannot out-imagine divine. No matter how great your perfect dream life manifesto is, it's better than you can imagine. There's going to be plot twists, there's going to be surprises, and it's perfect. It's better than you can imagine. So everything you write, you can say this or better because that's what's promised. Your perfect dream life is perfect, approved, prepared, paid for, present. It's waiting for your permission. And we're saying yes. Type into the chat, it's my time. Type it into the chat and claim it. Claim it. It's my time. It's my time. You've taken care of others. You've taken care of the spouse, the kids, the mom, the dad, the aunts, the uncles, the church, the school. You did the degrees. You got the job. But at some point you said, well, what about me? What about my dreams? What about my life? What about why I'm here? And today you're saying yes to you. You're saying 100% I'm all in. I'm all in. Your perfect dream life, do you have a clear, compelling vision that you believe in and feel free to pursue? Continue to craft that throughout today. Remembering you'll never be happier, healthier, wealthier, or more loved than you will allow. This is not about creating, this is about allowing. The miracles are guaranteed. What we want to do is stop stopping ourselves to find out how unstoppable we are. We went through level 1, becoming a miracle magnet. Of course, we did that after understanding physics, quantum physics, metaphysics, how the universe is held together by energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It is the fundamental element below all elements. Everything is made of energy. First we thought there were 4 elements, and then we got the periodic table. Then we realized within the periodic table, they were all of these elements were made up of atoms. Atoms were made up of electrons, neutrons, protons. Then we went subatomic, and we realized that at the subatomic level, there's a whole other world of these things that whirl around in clouds, and they go from waves to particles, and it was mystical, and they couldn't understand it. And so the whole world of quantum physics, quantum mechanics, opened up our understanding in ways that we couldn't have imagined. But what it also did is show us that the universe is made up of energy. I was going to go into down another thing, but you've got enough. So the universe is made up of energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It's in a perpetual state of vibration. It's always moving from high concentration to low concentration, which means everything is either being created or disintegrated at all times, and we want to make sure that we're always being created, we're always leaning into life and developing ourselves. Has this been okay? I know I'm moving fast, but you got this stuff, right? We've been covering it for 2 days, and you're getting it at new levels. We showed how we found out that the energy, which makes up absolutely everything, on the air, everything. And there are no vacuums in the universe. That's vacuum power is one of the most shocking things about the universe. But that'll be another. Maybe I'll have to do an advanced one of these. I don't know. The quantum leap is one of the ways that we found out that energy is a spiritual substance because it defies time, space, and matter. The quantum leap is when an electron or other subatomic particles leap from one shell, one circle, into another with no time and no movement, which means they violated the natural laws of physics, of time, space, and matter, the Newtonian laws, if you will. And so because they violate that, we know that they're spiritual substance. They are metaphysical, spiritual. They transcend time, space, and matter. Transcend is to exist beyond the parameters, not being controlled by. The other experiment that I refer to, and there's more than just these two, but it's quantum entanglement. When 2 subatomic particles entangle, when they occupy the same space, they can be separated to the distance of hundreds of light years, but when one spins up, the other one spins down, and they're not communicating. Einstein said this is spooky action at a distance, and the reason why it's possible is not because they communicate, because even if they're hundreds of light years away, they're still in the same place because they're the same thing. And that is the kind of almost mystical things that we're learning, which means energy is a spiritual substance. Let me just give you a bonus thing on quantum entanglement. Have you had someone call when you were thinking about them, or you call someone and they said, I was just thinking about you? Put your hand if that happens. It's like, oh my gosh, you were on my mind. I can't believe this. This is too freaky. Who has that fairly often? Just freaky things. And you see the numbers, you get the whispers of numbers, you get whispers, like all this stuff happens. Like you feel stuff going on around the planet. All right. What that is spiritual entanglement, which means you have an emotional connection, a spiritual connection with people, places, and things. And when something happens to them, something happens to you. You follow that? You're spiritually entangled, which is a really cool idea that, again, I'm teaching as much as I can. Put up your hand if you agree. I'm working hard here. I'm giving you as much as I can, as fast as I can, as deep as I can, as wide as I can, and weaving it together. And there's more. Right? There's more, but this is cool. The next thing we did was we explained the physicality of the universe, that the spirit world gave birth to the universe. The universe is made up of energy. You are, in fact, a citizen of the spirit world, not the physical world. You came here. And in the Bible it says, you didn't choose me, I chose you. And there's other texts that refer to the idea that you partnered with divine, although it might be a little bit of a stretch in the eyes of some. But I believe that you partnered in this plan. And you said, send me in, coach. And then you entered into this time-space continuum. You're a spiritual being in physical form. You entered in here with spiritual amnesia, and you stopped knowing what you used to know. And through your spiritual journey, you unlock your knowing. Sometimes while I'm talking, you are learning. Other times, you're not technically learning, you're re-knowing. Put up your hand if you understand what I'm saying. Sometimes it's not a learning, it's like a, yeah, I don't know how I know, but I know. That's true. I know that. I know that's true. Even though you didn't teach it and neither did I, and the way it's spoken in wisdom literature is flesh and blood did not give that to you. You got that as a download. You know stuff, you know more than you know, you think more than you think, and it can be unlocked. We then talked about how there are heavens or dimensions or planes, different spiritual planes, and they're not far away at the edge of the universe or at the edge of the planet. They're in fact all around you at all times. And I showed through this beautiful rainbow. Dulce Hermosa, do you like the rainbow? I always do my colors. So around you are all of the dimensions. So in the room where you are, where you're breathing air, just know this, around you could be spiritual entity. Around you is the Akashic record, all-knowing, everything that's ever been known or thought or felt or experienced by anything is available to you to know. So you can just know stuff. Also, there's what is often called the collective consciousness of the unified field, where you can enter in meditation generally. You enter into this no thing, no one, nowhere, no time, where you realize we're all part of this one thing. We're in this spiritual soup. We're made up of the same spiritual energy. And so, yeah, so we learned that. Then what? Oh, we talked about sin. Sin, it means hamartia, or not together. When it said God hates sin, or divine love hates sin, but all it was saying is, I love you so much, I hate it when we're not together. And sin just means separate from love. So when you behave badly, you're simply, your actions and inactions are not fueled by love. And then when you are righteous and you're engaged in righteousness, you're in a right relationship. So love fuels all of your actions and inactions. Okay, back over here. Then, is this fun? Is this okay? Do you benefit from hearing it again? Put up your hand if you think this is beneficial, just to go pop, 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 pop. Who feels really smart as I'm going through? You're like, yep. May have freaked you out the first time. Now you're like, go. I can keep up, right? This is miraculous. So then we did level 1, become a miracle magnet, and we showed you that you are in fact by nature plugged in. You're a spiritual, supernatural thing. But when you're unplugged, it's like unplugging the kettle. It can't produce the miraculous activity. It can be used, it can be treasured, it can be busy, but a kettle that's not plugged in can't do its supernatural acts, so we want to be plugged in. You are one breath away from reconnecting to Source and all the infinite wealth, wisdom, and power of the universe. And the quantum breath is a super simple, super fast, less than 20-second micro meditation, where we do 3 deep diaphragmatic breaths, and we move our body. We say, inhale, I am present. Exhale, I'm centered. Inhale, I am open to love. Exhale, I become love. Inhale, I share love, and then thank you. The quantum breath is incredibly powerful and healing. We then went to jump to light speed, and we understand that what's keeping us from light speed is we might be attached to the ground. It's like the air balloon with the sandbags. It might be a rocket that's strapped to a cable. And so it's get rid of these things that slow me down, get a clear, compelling vision I believe in and feel free to pursue, and drop the dead weight of disempowering beliefs and bitterness. And so we said your cup is full of disempowering beliefs. You have so many things that might be in the way. You want to empty your cup so you can fill it. We mentioned that strength in the physical world is measured by how much you can lift up. Strength in the spiritual world is measured by how much you can let go. The more chill you are, the more spiritually flow-through powerful you are. So, I see Spider-Man. Did anyone else see Spider-Man? I can't concentrate. Spider-Man.
I was like, what?
Hey, can Georgie Spider-Man come back on? I want to see Spider-Man again. Where's Spider-Man? We all got, hey, let's send some big love to Spider-Man. Oh, we're safe. Our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is here. Who went to the monster truck thing yesterday, right? Family had some serious fun. Yeah, you did, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did. This is my
Wow.
daredevil buddy. What's that?
His true self, like, he took on the
Ah! The big reveal. He's Peter Parker. I love it. Hey, oh God, thank you. Okay, back to work. So, I see Spider-Man or a puppy dog, and it's lost. Okay, this is good. We're going fast up. So we've learned that the more that I can chill, write this down, the more calm and still I can be, the more powerful I become. So write that down. Power flows through stillness. So you want to, with all the gratitude and all the excitement, calm down. Now, write this down. I didn't say this yesterday. Being still does not require sitting still. You can be still at 100 miles an hour. Stillness is not nothingness. Stillness is peace at any pace. So when you're performing a million things, you're spinning a million plates, you're doing a million things, you can be doing it from complete zen. So from stillness, faith-filled actions. And then any negative energy in you, any disempowering beliefs, forgive them and let go. Let go, let go, let go. It is what it is, and now. Drop the judgment. We don't judge people, places, things, occurrences. I do not judge anything. It's sunny, perfect. It's raining, perfect. There's a hailstorm, perfect. This person doesn't like you, perfect. You just lost $1 million, perfect. It is what it is. Why? Because it is. Am I going to be a victim or am I going to be a world changer? You can't be both. You can't be a victim and a positive world changer. You just can't. So drop it. It is what it is, and now. And now. Right? So if you see something, some horrible thing happening in the world, don't be a victim of it. Say, that's what it is, and now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pray about it, I'm going to take action, I'm going to do something. I'm not going to be upset. I'm not angry. I'm active. We then went to level 3. Who am I, who am I not? And we walked through, I don't need to go through all these. We described yourself, self-esteem, self-image, self-ideal, self-projection. We walked through the spiritual anatomy map. You are not a person who has a soul. You are a soul. What you have is a body, and it's temporary. You are your soul from the spirit world. You have a spiritual thing within your spiritual anatomy called a mind. Your mind pervades your body, uses your brain to think consciously. Your spirit is your Wi-Fi to connect vertically and horizontally to all living things. Your heart is at the epicenter of who you are. The heart of your soul is similar to the heart of your body. And your heart is extremely important. So the wisdom literature says, above all else, guard your heart, for from it come all the eventualities of life. And we talked about that. And then we talked about your body being a spiritual antenna. It's not a distraction. It's not slowing you down. It's part of the whole package of who you are. Your body matters. We then reminded you again of the DreamLife Pledge. I hope you're doing this every day, and I hope you're in the 30-day miracle challenge every day. And here's what it says: I am. Do you want to say this with me? You can say it. We're gonna say it. I'm gonna read it, slow enough that everyone can join me. So it's called the DreamLife Pledge. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I am a creative and compassionate spiritual being, currently existing in physical form. I am infinitely valuable, exquisitely unique, and perfect in my personhood. My natural state is in euphoric connection to source love, God, and in loving connection with all living things. Give yourself an amen and a big hand. Now, we then talked about the ego is not your amigo. The ego is not a real thing. It is a construct. It is a mental survival reaction. It is a emergency generated organism. Let's get here. Wow, we taught a lot. Have you learned a lot this weekend? Anyone get the money's worth? Tell me, in all honesty, I'm going to ask you to type into the chat, if I paid you to unlearn everything that you've learned, all the benefits of our relationship, if I could extract me from your life and the work that we've done together from your life, how much would I have to pay you to extract all this knowing, all of this encouragement, and all this insight? What I'm asking is, what's the value of this weekend in your life? Put a number in the chat. What is this worth to you? What would someone have to pay you to take all of the benefits out of you, all this knowing, all of these positive vibes, this beautiful community? What has this been worth to you? And what you want to do in your life and in your business is profitably solve problems, which means wow people, overwhelm people with your blessings and your service, and always over-deliver. And when you profitably solve problems, you can build any size empire. You want to be efficient, you want to be effective, you want to be wise, you want to be prudent, you want to be disciplined, and you want to be great. And I hope that that's been your experience this weekend. So, Augustine, what kind of numbers was that?
They say priceless, no way.
No way you can't take it back.
You're not getting back. Nope, nada.
No. I love it.
Yeah.
I hope you would agree with me that this is absolutely priceless. And what did we charge? $9 for people to be able to pop in. And we gave the recording, which I never planned on doing. And we have a whole another day to do here. And this is just one round, right? So see this as a treasure, something precious. Protect our relationship and more. So then we talked about self-esteem, self-image, and soon it's the ego. Okay, so the ego, the emergency generated organism, is born in a state of separation and desperation. When a soul realizes it's detached from divine, and when we come into this planet it's that way, but we don't really feel it, the charge isn't lost until we're around 2, and then what we realize is we have no vision, no identity, no purpose. The vision is what do I want, identity is who am I, and the purpose is why am I here. And by the way, the next section is why am I here. And so you can survive for a while without vision, although the wisdom literature just says without vision the people perish. So ultimately, without vision, that's disastrous. You can also be without a purpose for a little while, although the psyche wants to answer those two questions. The desperate one is who am I? The psyche cannot survive without an identity, and so as a child, you created an emergency-generated organism, a construct, a paradigm, an idea of who you are, and we call that the ego. It is a surrogate self. It is a fake ID, a fake identification, emergency-generated organism. Now that was fine for a while, trying to figure out who you are, and you listen to the social mirror to say, I'm the cute one, I'm the happy one, I like broccoli, whatever. But then over time, it went from being a surrogate to a counterfeit, and now it thinks it's you. And so that's where the ego becomes a real problem. We then talked about how can I identify the ego. Well, it's easy. The soul only sees and always sees what you do have, what you do know, what you can do, and who's with you. The ego only and always sees what is not. It only sees the gap. The ego only sees what you don't have, what you don't know, what you can't do, and who's not with you. And if you're thinking about any of these things, it's your ego doing the thinking. If you're focused on these things, you know your soul is back in power. And the fastest way back into power is gratitude. When you think about gratitude for what you do have, for what you do know, for what you can do, and who's with you, gratitude reconnects you to source, gratitude reconnects you to soul, and gratitude turns off the power of the ego. And then we did all this cool stuff. Okay.
Ask them if they want to have the notes. Maybe we can do something.
What if we, you could take pictures for everybody. Who would like the pictures of all of the flip chart? Like a good picture by a professional photographer. Who here would like that?
I got bonus like that.
A bonus, so you get that, yeah? So type, please, and then Augustine will know that you want it. Just type, please, and Augustine will send it. But I think we can do something cooler. So everyone gets the photographs, and the person who shares the love most online with the hashtags and the @James MacNeil, I'll mail all of these to you at my expense along with your signed book.
Wow.
Who wants that? You get all of these flip chart papers. Everything that I'm doing on the flip chart over the last 3 days, 2 days and today, I'm mailing you, my expense, I'm mailing the person who does the most online sharing, I'm mailing you all of my flip chart paper as well as your autograph book, which I will sign on camera at the end of the day. Is that good?
Yeah, the chat is closed.
Who's into it now? Who just got excited about this sharing thing? You get all of the pages and this signed, might as well have some fun. Beautiful, your ego is not your ego. We then talked about if you're not already in our community, and almost everyone here in the Zoom is in our community, so thank you, and welcome. If you're on YouTube or if you're new around here, you're probably not in our community. So I'm not going to go through the whole presentation, but all you have to do is join us at go.jamesmacneil.com/PSI. It's $97 a month. It's a $6,000 package. You're in a community with me for an entire year. And if at the end of the year you haven't made, had a $10,000 miracle, I give you all of your money back and you keep all of my stuff. So everyone should be joining if you haven't already. Go.jamesmacneil.com/PSI. Make sure it's in the chat team. We then talked about the retreat. If you want to know about the retreat, I'm not even going to do this now because I want to take a break. So we have a retreat and an advanced retreat. Both are done by me and me only until the end of the September one. I'm the only facilitator, and soon you will be the facilitator. Who's going to be a retreat facilitator for me? Run retreats all over the world, 5-star, VIP. So this is the last time possibly that you'll have me as the retreat facilitator. So join us in September, and then there's the credits and yada yada yada. Okay, good stuff. Put it in the chat if you're interested. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we're getting to work. Good and good? Give yourself a big, huge hand, start sharing on social media, and if you have questions, ask in the chat how to do it, and we're going to be right back. I'm going off camera, I'm going off audio, and I'll see you at 10. Love, joy, peace. Mwah.